This morning, I got up, I got ready for the day, got my books ready, got dressed, got cleaned up, and then I went to Office of Readings. Now, as seminarians, we pray the Liturgy of the Hours. The Office of Readings is the first, hour of the day that we would pray. And we come together as a community and we pray Office of Readings, and that lasts for 25 minutes. And then moved into morning prayer. And morning prayer is structured a little bit differently because it's shorter than Office of Readings. And then after morning prayer, I went to my class on Holy Wars. It's a class where we basically look at the big three religions, Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. And we look at their history of holy wars and we think, okay, is this really a holy war? Does this fit? And all of the students in there, there's 4 of us in the class, we come up with our own definition of a holy war. And then we evaluate that religion's quote unquote holy wars. After Holy Wars class, I went to medieval philosophy. And in medieval philosophy, we are studying a guy by the name of Francisco Suarez. And he was a legal philosopher in a sense. And so basically I spent that class period listening to my professor expound on his knowledge of Francisco Suarez. That way we have a basis upon which we can write the paper that we need to write for him. When we go to the Basilica for Mass, we sit together as a community, and it's really nice to sit in the Basilica too before Mass and pray, because the Basilica is absolutely gorgeous. They have the most amazing murals. They're called Bolognese murals that are on the walls that depict the life of Mary. And then they also have, in between those, the Magnificat in Latin. They have a big painting of the Immaculate Conception in the very forefront in the apse. And then underneath that picture are several paintings of the various saints. After Mass, I came out of the Basilica and I went downstairs to the refectory in St. Joseph's Hall to go to lunch. Now that we're going to lunch, the kitchen staff cooks the food, but normally the manager of the kitchen, I actually work in the kitchen, the manager of the kitchen, her name is Helga, and she makes sure everything kind of runs, and then one of the monks oversees the kitchen, and his name is Brother Justin. So they make sure and kind of get everything shipshape and ready to go. And you can usually find them back in the kitchen, and that way if there's any problems or anything with the food, we can run back and make sure everyone has enough to eat. And we have the guest refectory right over here. And so they make sure that there's people keeping an eye on the guest refectory. It's a buffet style meal, so we just basically pick up a tray and go through the line. And whatever the kitchen has decided to cook for the day, that's our meal. This is what we call taco bueno. So we go through, we get the meal, and then we come and we sit in the student refectory. And during lunch, it's just a good time to have an informal meal and to hang out with the guys, because we're all out of classes, we're all just out of Mass, we're all sitting there as a community eating lunch together. Right after lunch, I went over to the library and I had to look some information up on the internet to prepare for one of my classes. And so I got online at one of the computers and looked up the information I needed just to get a little of my work done before I prepared to relax for the afternoon after my morning of classes. After lunch, I had quite a bit of free time to give the camera crew a quick tour of the grounds so they could kind of get a feel and get acclimated for where they were at. I'm going to show you guys around campus here. That way you can get a feel for the lay of the land. You saw it earlier, but right over here we have St. Mike's. That's, again, the dorm where the freshmen and sophomores hang out. And we have St. Mauer, which is right over here. Then right over here we have St. Joseph, and then of course right behind him is the Basilica. And then this hall right there that you can see is St. Joseph's Hall. St. Joseph's Hall is where all the older students live, particularly they have pre-theology guys, which are guys that have gotten degrees already in other colleges and then have come to the seminary basically to fulfill philosophy requirements that the bishops say that all seminarians need to have. Further down this way, and as you can see over there, we do have a lake over there, Lake Placid. If you guys like to go fishing at all, the fishing is amazing. They have tons of fish. The monks let us fish in there. They have a bunch of snapping turtles in there. I mean, there's just pretty much whatever kind of fish within the territorial boundaries. There's whatever kind of fish you can find in there. There's bass, there's bluegill. Somebody's caught like a perch or not a sunfish, a perch. And then this building right here is the exercise facility. This is the JFK. There's a pool in here, there's an exercise facility, and there's treadmills, there's weights, there's whatever else you need. This is where we play racquetball.
We also play a game called volleyball. It's basically volleyball, but you can use the walls when you serve. And there's 4 racquetball courts also. This is the basketball court. This is the second of 2 basketball courts we have. A lot of the guys come down here and just play basketball for fun. We're walking right now towards St. Michael's Gymnasium. Right behind you over there is the gymnasium, and then further down to the right of the gymnasium, as we're coming into view, is the soccer field right over here. We also use this field for May Day and everything else.
May Day is basically a mass field day, where the entire seminary is divided into 2 teams. We have a white team and a blue team, and they compete to see who can get more points than the other in various events. The events range from, they call a beanbag toss to horseshoe. We have ping pong tournaments, we have fishing competitions, we have a tug of war, we have water balloon tosses, we have races, and we play soccer, football, and softball.
All right, we're gonna end our tour right here in front of St. Mauer Hall, and I'm gonna run up to my room and go get my breviary before evening prayer, which is in a few minutes. And I hope you've enjoyed this tour, so please, by all means, have a nice day.
We decided to go out as an archdiocese since we were hosting our camera crew, and we went to La Bonita, which is in the town of Maryville, Missouri. And Maryville, Missouri is actually a college town.
Right now we're on our way to La Bonita because we're going out as an archdiocese to hang out, have some fraternity, and also hang out with the cameraman who came down to visit and film us.
Getting off campus, and especially going to La Bonita where it's relaxed and informal, is absolutely amazing. And it's incredible because you're still so close to the seminary, and yet you're off campus, which is amazing because there just seems to be this release and relief of stress when you're leaving the campus thinking, okay, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna relax. After La Bonita, I came back to my dorm room and I sat down and I read and I prepared for classes, and then I had to get on the internet to actually check my email and to make sure that my work was prepared for class and that my papers were ready and everything else and that they had been proofread. And then afterwards, what I ended up doing was sitting in bed reading for a little while, and then it was lights out at that point. And that's generally a day in the life of a seminarian. I hope you guys have really enjoyed this, and I hope it's given you some things to really consider, because the seminary is amazing. And not only that, the priesthood is amazing. I look at so many of the priests in the archdiocese, and they are just amazing men who have given their lives, given their all to God. And if God is calling you to do that, then you will never look back and regret a single day, because you will be so happy. So, on that note, I'd like to conclude. Thank you very much again for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. God bless.